Welcome back, everyone. Well, we did it. After a month-long bracket challenge, whittling down the best Marvel movies from the top 32 to 16 to 8 to 4, we are finally down to the final two Marvel properties. And what a final two that they are.
Missing.
Avengers Infinity War started out as the number 20 seed, based on the ratings from Rotten Tomatoes. But you, the viewers, did not let that get in the way of its ascension to the top. Whereas Avengers Endgame started out as the number 2 seed, behind only Black Panther. And it felt like a favorite from the very beginning and every step of the way, leading to where it is now in this final championship matchup.
Unbeatable.
And looking back at the results from all the Avengers Endgame surveys that have taken place throughout this tournament, it's actually really interesting. Avengers Endgame never received a vote against them. Every matchup that they took place in, the viewer polls were unanimous in favor of Avengers Endgame to get here. Now that sounds really impressive, though I look at Avengers Infinity War, and it's similar. They're not that far behind. They were actually unanimous in every matchup, except for one. And that was the semifinal round when they were up against Black Panther, where they squeaked by a single vote. So both these movies have shown that they're not here by luck or by chance. They deserve to be here as audience favorites.
Oh, that's intense.
All of that said, only one of these two movies can come out as the number one final survivor of the Marvel Madness poll. So let's dive into my analysis, and then we'll reveal the results and see who has come out as the winner.
Assemble.
So, the one and only matchup to discuss today, the championship matchup between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. It is so funny to see these two facing off each other. I feel like neither of these movies would be the same without the other. Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame are essentially one long storyline. It was just too long of a storyline, so it got split into two movies. Avengers Infinity War sets up this whole conflict, this whole battle against Thanos and his forces, and his grand scheme to annihilate half of life across the whole galaxy. The Avengers are finding this battle. They are fighting Thanos, and they lose, bringing us into Avengers Endgame. All that is now set up. We have the backstory. We have the conflict. We know the villains. We know what we're up against. And in Endgame, the heroes are regrouping. They're deciding not to sit back and let this be the end. They're coming out strong, and they're finding a way to beat the odds, to beat Thanos and his forces, something they couldn't complete last time. So these two movies are essentially two sides of the same coin. Infinity War setting it up, Endgame knocking it back down. I feel like if either of these movies, or whichever one wins, because one of them is going to, the other one is almost getting an honorable mention here. Because if Endgame takes the throne, Infinity War gets the credit for setting it up. And if Infinity War takes the throne, it's with the knowledge that Endgame came after to finish up the loose ends that Infinity War was able to leave out there. So I feel like either way we go, this is a big victory for both these movies. But they are separate movies. So despite the fact that we almost feel like they're one storyline and almost should take the throne together, they can't. So we need to choose which of these two will be the number one. And for me, my pick is going to Avengers Endgame. If you watched the prior videos, you should have seen that one coming. Avengers Endgame, I mentioned it before. It's my number 2 overall movie for the entire MCU. And even though Avengers Infinity War is much higher than 20, it's not higher than 2. So I love both these movies, but my pick is going to Avengers Endgame here. Hopefully it won't be a tie. If it's not a tie, this doesn't matter, and it'll all come down to the audience. But for me, my pick is Avengers Endgame.
Avengers.
So there it is. My final pick is in. So now let's look at the results and see which one is actually taking home the crown. All right. After a month of surveys and discussion, the winner of Marvel Madness 2022 is Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame wins it all. Once again, actually, with another unanimous win. Congratulations to Avengers Endgame for being named 2022's #1 Marvel property.
We did it.
So there we have it. This bracket is over. But with so many Marvel properties on the horizon, Moon Knight is coming out today. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is coming out in a few weeks. We have so many Marvel properties coming up. How long will Avengers Endgame hold that top spot? Only time will tell. Thank you for following along throughout this bracket. If you enjoyed this material, please go ahead and like this video and feel free to subscribe to my channel if you so desire. And if you can't get enough of all things Marvel, feel free to check out my other channel, The Uncanny J-Men, where my brother and I analyze and think through and theorize on all of our favorite fandoms, of which Marvel is leading the pack. One last thank you to everyone who voted in this year's Marvel Madness tournament. And until next time, thanks for watching.